A Course in Miracles. Lesson 189. I feel the love of God within me now. There is a light in you the world cannot perceive, and with its eyes you will not see this light, for you are blinded by the world. Yet you have eyes to see it. It is there for you to look upon. It was not placed in you to be kept hidden from your sight. This light is a reflection of the thought we practice now. To feel the love of God within you is to see the world anew, shining in innocence, alive with hope, and blessed with perfect charity and love. Who could feel fear in such a world as this? It welcomes you, rejoices that you came, and sings your praises as it keeps you safe from every form of danger and of pain. It offers you a warm and gentle home in which to stay a while. It blesses you throughout the day and watches through the night as silent guardian of your holy sleep. It sees salvation in you and protects the light in you in which it sees its own. It offers you its flowers and its snow in thankfulness for your benevolence. This is the world the love of God reveals. It is so different from the world you see through darkened eyes of malice and of fear that one belies the other. Only one can be perceived at all. The other one is wholly meaningless. A world in which forgiveness shines on everything and peace offers its gentle light to everyone is inconceivable to those who see a world of hatred rising from attack, poised to avenge, to murder and destroy. Yet is the world of hatred equally unseen and inconceivable to those who feel God's love in them. Their world reflects the quietness and peace that shines in them, the gentleness and innocence they see surrounding them, the joy with which they look out from the endless wells of joy within. What they have felt in them, they look upon, and see its sure reflection everywhere. What would you see? The choice is given you, but learn, and do not let your mind forget this law of seeing. You will look upon that which you feel within. If hatred finds a place within your heart, you will perceive a fearful world, held cruelly in death's sharp-pointed, bony fingers. If you feel the love of God within you, you will look out on a world of mercy and of love. Today we pass illusions as we seek to reach to what is true in us and feel its all-embracing tenderness, its love which knows us perfect as itself, its sight which is the gift its love bestows on us. We learn the way today. It is as sure as love itself, to which it carries us. For its simplicity avoids the snares the foolish convolutions of the world's apparent reasoning, but serve to hide. Simply do this. Be still, and lay aside all thoughts of what you are and what God is, all concepts you have learned about the world, all images you hold about yourself. Empty your mind of everything it thinks is either true or false, or good or bad, of every thought it judges worthy, and all the ideas of which it is ashamed. Hold on to nothing. Do not bring with you one thought the past has taught, nor one belief you ever learned before from anything. Forget this world, forget this course, and come with wholly empty hands unto your God. Is it not He who knows the way to you? You need not know the way to Him. Your part is simply to allow all obstacles that you have interposed between the Son and God the Father to be quietly removed forever. God will do His part in joyful and immediate response. Ask and receive. But do not make demands, nor point the road to God by which He should appear to you. The way to reach Him is merely to let Him be, for in that way is your reality proclaimed as well. And so today we do not choose the way in which we go to Him, but we do choose to let Him come. And with this choice we rest. And in our quiet hearts and open minds, His love will blaze its pathway of itself.
What has not been denied is surely there, if it be true, and can be surely reached. God knows his Son, and knows the way to him. He does not need his Son to show him how to find his way. Through every open door his love shines outward from its home within, and lightens up the world in innocence. Father, we do not know the way to you, but we have called, and you have answered us. We will not interfere. Salvation's ways are not our own, for they belong to you. And it is unto you we look for them. Our hands are open to receive your gifts. We have no thoughts we think apart from you, and cherish no beliefs of what we are or who created us. Yours is the way that we would find and follow.
And we ask but that your will, which is our own as well, be done in us and in the world, that it become a part of heaven now. Amen. Lesson 189. I feel the love of God within me now. You keep searching for God. What if God already knows the way? Detective Boy discovers the entire investigation began in the wrong jurisdiction. You keep searching for God. What if God already knows the way? Everything changes with that one question. Most people assume the spiritual journey is about finding God. We spend our lives searching, striving, climbing, hoping that one day we'll arrive where He is. The entire search rests on one assumption: that God is somewhere else. Then Lesson 189 quietly overturns the whole investigation. You need not know the way to Him. He knows the way to you. This isn't a small adjustment. It's a complete inversion. The ego's premise has always been the same. I must find God. I must get home. I must arrive. The lesson quietly reverses every one of those assumptions. You need not know the way to Him. He knows the way to you. Think about Detective Boy. He's been working a case for weeks, following clues, interviewing witnesses, building theories, convinced he's getting closer to the truth. Then someone quietly places one document on his desk. Wrong jurisdiction. Nothing about the evidence changed. The witnesses didn't suddenly disappear. The facts didn't rearrange themselves. The jurisdiction was wrong. The entire investigation had been taken place in the wrong court. That's what Lesson 189 does. It doesn't ask you to search harder. It asks whether the search itself began from a mistaken assumption. If God already knows the way to you, then who has really been lost? If home has never forgotten where you are, then what has all the searching been for? The detective doesn't solve the case by collecting more evidence. He solves it the moment he realizes he has been investigating in the wrong jurisdiction all along. The law of seeing. Every perception is downstream from a source. This is the centerpiece of Lesson 189. Jesus doesn't offer a suggestion, He gives us a law. Learn, and do not let your mind forget this law of seeing. You look upon that which you feel within. There it is. The law of seeing. Everything we've uncovered today is contained in that one sentence. The law can be expressed like this: being, feeling, seeing. Being is the source. Feeling is the recognition of the source. Seeing is the inevitable extension of that recognition. Being, feeling, seeing. Not a technique, a law. The ego teaches a completely different order. See, feel, be. The world tells you to look first, then decide how you feel, then let those feelings tell you who you are. The Course quietly reverses the direction of causation. Remember what you are. Feel the love of God within you now. Then see the world anew. The world is no longer the source of your experience. It becomes the reflection of it. Think of a wellspring. The spring is being. The water is feeling. The river is seeing. The river never creates the spring. The spring expresses itself as the river. You don't repair the river by chasing the current downstream. You return to the wellspring. When the spring is clear, everything downstream reflects its clarity. That's why the lesson says you look upon what you feel within. It doesn't say you create reality. It says perception follows its source. Every conclusion, every judgment, every fear, every act of mercy, every experience of peace is downstream from the wellspring from which you are looking. The question then is no longer, what do you see? The question is, from what wellspring are you seeing? The world never had jurisdiction. Stop asking the world to decide what only God can know. The world keeps trying to act like the highest court. It tells you who you are. It tells you what you've lost. It tells you whether you're worthy. It tells you whether peace is possible. Detective Boy asks one ordinary question. Who gave the world that authority? Wrong jurisdiction. Think about a detective who spends months building a case, only to discover it was filed in the wrong courtroom. The evidence may seem convincing. The witnesses may sound believable. The emotions may be overwhelming. But none of that changes one fact. The court never had jurisdiction over the case. The course asks us to investigate an assumption we rarely question. Have you ever actually found a world that has the authority to tell you what God created? Or have you simply accepted its verdict without investigation? The world says you are guilty. God says you are His son. The world says something real has been taken from you. God says what He created cannot be diminished. The world says peace depends on circumstances. God says His peace is already within you now. Which court has jurisdiction? The only jurisdiction you have is over the direction of the decision-making mind. You cannot legislate tomorrow. You cannot rewrite yesterday. You cannot govern another person's thoughts. You cannot place the world under your authority. But you can decide which voice you will listen to. That is your jurisdiction. Every fearful conclusion begins by filing the case in the court of the world. Lesson 189 quietly transfers the case. Not to a higher opinion, to the only authority that has ever known the truth about you. The investigation changes the moment the jurisdiction changes. The wellspring was never missing. Stop looking downstream for the source. One of the greatest mistakes we make is trying to repair the river. We spend our lives chasing reflections, adjusting circumstances, and hoping the current will finally carry us somewhere called peace. Lesson 189 quietly invites us to turn around. Stop looking downstream. Remember the wellspring. The metaphor becomes beautifully simple. Being is the wellspring. Feeling is the living water flowing from the wellspring. Seeing is the river. Being, feeling, seeing. One movement, not three separate events. The river never creates the spring. The spring expresses itself as the river. You don't improve the river by chasing every ripple downstream. You return to the source. The lesson says you look upon what you feel within. That means the world is not the source of God's love. It reflects the source from which you're looking. If you feel the love of God within you now, you will look upon a world of mercy and of love. The world doesn't produce mercy. It reflects the mercy that has become your way of seeing. Think about an endless well. An endless well never searches for rivers. It becomes one. It simply overflows. The river is the evidence of the spring. In the same way, your perception is the evidence of the wellspring from which you are looking. The question is no longer, how do I fix the world? The question becomes, from what wellspring am I seeing it? Remember the wellspring. The river will take care of itself. Now ends every postponement. The ego lives by two simple words: not now. Everything it teaches begins with delay. When this changes, after I heal, someday, when I find the right person, when I have enough money, when they apologize, when life finally goes my way. Lesson 189 answers every postponement with one word: now. I feel the love of God within me now. That one word changes the entire investigation. If the love of God is within me now, then it never departed. It never arrives. It never comes and goes. It was present before the trial. It was present during the trial. It was present after the trial. The timeline never interrupted reality. Only the story said it did. Think about a detective who finally uncovers the one piece of evidence that changes the entire case. Nothing else has to be argued. Everything is seen differently because the foundation has changed. That's what the word now does. It quietly removes every argument for later. The ego cannot survive without postponement. It always promises peace tomorrow. The Course simply says, now. Not because tomorrow doesn't seem to come, but because reality has never left now. The greatest illusion is not that peace is difficult to find. The greatest illusion is that peace is somewhere else. Checkmate. Not because fear lost, because postponement lost its jurisdiction.
The case is over the moment you realize the love of God was never waiting for another day. It was always now. The simplicity the ego cannot tolerate. Complexity is where fear hides. One of the quiet themes running through Lesson 189 is a single word: simply. Empty hands receive. You cannot receive while gripping your conclusions. One of the most beautiful invitations in Lesson 189 is this: come with wholly empty hands unto your God. Notice what Jesus asks us to do. Lay aside every definition. Forget every image. Release every conclusion. Forget this world. Forget this course. Come with empty hands. Why would he ask us to forget even the course? Because the course is a map. When you arrive home, you no longer need the map. The map has fulfilled its purpose by pointing beyond itself. The Course has never been asking us to collect better concepts. It has been leading us beyond concepts altogether. Empty hands do not earn God. They simply become available to receive what has always been there. Hands already full cannot receive another gift. Not because the gift is absent, because there is no room to recognize it. Think about a sculptor standing before a block of marble. He doesn't create the statue. He removes everything that is not the statue. The masterpiece was never added. It was revealed. Lesson 189 works the same way. It isn't asking you to become the Son of God. It asks you to lay aside everything that convinced you that you were something else. Every label, every image, every grievance, every definition, every certainty. One by one, they are gently chipped away. Nothing true is lost. Only what never belonged to you falls away. When your hands are finally empty, you discover they were never empty at all. They had simply stopped holding what prevented them from recognizing the gift that had always been there. The Course keeps saying simply. The ego keeps answering, it can't be that simple. The ego loves complexity because complexity gives it somewhere to hide. The more tangled the reasoning becomes, the harder it is to question the original assumption. But notice what Jesus asks us to do. Lay aside. Forget. Empty your mind. Hold on to nothing.
come with wholly empty hands. These are not instructions to add something. They are invitations to remove what never belonged there in the first place. Truth is never made more true by adding another concept. It is recognized when the obstacles have been laid aside. Think about Detective Boy. He walks into a room where everyone has a different theory. One person has a 20-page explanation. Another has a complicated motive. Another has an elaborate timeline. Detective Boy quietly listens. Then he asks one ordinary question. "Show me the evidence." The room becomes silent. Not because the stories weren't convincing, but because complexity is not evidence. Lesson 189 does the same thing. It doesn't argue with every fearful thought. It asks you to lay them all aside. Not because they're frightening, because they are unnecessary. Truth has never needed a complicated defense. Fear does. The more fear speaks, the more explanation it requires. Truth simply is. That's why the lesson keeps returning to simplicity. Not because simplicity is childish, because reality has never been complicated. The only thing that became complicated was the attempt to explain why the love of God could ever be absent. Lesson 189 quietly removes every explanation until only one remains. I feel the love of God within me now. Nothing needs to be added to that. Nothing can improve it. Truth is simple because truth is whole. Let him be. Stop putting God on the witness stand. Perhaps the deepest instruction in Lesson 189 is only 3 words long. Let him be. Those 3 words bring every argument to an end. Notice what we spend our lives doing. God is this. God is that. God wouldn't allow this. God always does that. God is punishing me. God is blessing me. God loves these people. God rejects those people. Every definition becomes another witness taking the stand. Every opinion becomes another argument. Every concept becomes another attempt to tell God who he is.
The case doesn't collapse because someone argued more convincingly. It collapses because it never had a true foundation to stand on. The emotion may have felt real. The story may have seemed convincing. But the verdict was never the truth. The courtroom grows quiet. Every witness has spoken. Every argument has been heard. Then only one question remains. I feel the love of God within me now. If that is true, what case is left to prosecute?